I've seen book Bible things like this posted several times online, and it seems like every time somebody asks, how do you do that? It's not that hard, so I figured I would do a video on how to do something like this. This video is geared towards the beginner, so it's not, if you're an expert, you probably won't get too much out of this. I'm using VCarve Pro version 9 for this. And for this project, we're doing two things that kind of scare the beginners: a 3D shape and the distortion feature. Don't worry, it's not that hard to do. Just got to follow some basic steps and you can make it work. It doesn't require a professional CNC machine to do this. My machine is definitely not one of the fancier ones, and I do quite a bit of 3D work nowadays, and I really get good results out of it. We will be using the VCarve toolpath projected onto the 3D object, the book, and because we're using the VCarve toolpath, anything you can do in VCarve toolpath you could project onto a book like this. So it doesn't have to be just text. You could do images or, well, anything you can do with the VCarve toolpath. For this project, I'll be using the Lorem Ipsum. It's an ancient text that's it's really beautiful. I enjoy it a lot. I encourage you to research it and take a look into it. The English translation, it just loses something, so I encourage you to look at the original text, Google it and take a look at it. It's quite cool. On to the project. So let's get started. We are going to create a new file in VCarve Pro. The book is going to be 16 by 10, so we're going to go a little bigger than that. I've actually done this before, so here's the settings to use. 17 inches wide, 11 inches high, and 0.85 thick. That's about how thick the lumber is I get from the wood store usually. Center position, click OK on that. The next step is to go to Clip Art. Come down, it should be under Open Book. And there it is. We'll drag and drop it. And we'll go back to Drawing. I want to resize this so it is the 16 by 10. So I will just put 16 for width, and it'll come out about 10 inches tall, 9.96. So pretty darn close. Looks good. Now we're going to go back to modeling and double click on the open book there. After a lot of trial and error, I've come up with some numbers that work for me. There's probably a better way to do this, but if it works, it works. So I'm going to put 0.7 height and minus 125 on base height. So minus 0.125. And we'll click close. Back to drawing. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some tool paths on this so we can see what the 3D book will look like. So we're going to shift over to this side so we can see tool paths. Click on the book, and first we'll do a roughing tool path. And I normally use a 1/4 inch on this one. Now first we have to set this part up. I'll put a few thousand or hundredths on there above the model. And now we're going to select a 1/4 inch end mill. Looks good. I always add a ramp in here to go a 1/4 inch. It's a little better on the bits. And we'll call 3D roughing's good enough. We'll just leave that. Calculate it. And now we'll do the finishing tool path. So close that, select that again, and this one. And I always use an 1/8 inch ball nose, so I change this one. 1/8 inch ball nose. I used to do 8% step over on 3D stuff like this. It says 50. You can go a lot faster than that, so I'm going to put 100. It only shaves off a bit each pass, so it doesn't put much pressure on there at all. So you can go faster than a lot of other projects. And model boundary is what we want. And looks good, 3D finish. Actually, I like to do raster on this. That way, if the grain goes this way, the tool that way, and any tool paths you can see, any lines, machining lines, it blends in with the tool, the grain of the wood. It looks much better. Okay, so at this point we're going to, I want to see what it looks like. So I'll click both those and preview all toolpaths. The rough and cut and the finish and cut. And that's what it looks like. Pretty good. I don't know if you know this, but down in the bottom corner right through here, once you highlight, you can see like Z says 0 height right here, which is just the wood blank here. And now it's minus -1/4 inch. Goes all the way down to 0.63, 0.62. So basically the lowest point of this is 0.63 below the top. We put 0.5 in there, so about 0.2 inch thickness on that base, the thinnest spot, which is about what I like. So we're looking good so far. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out and go back to the other side. And we will work with text next. Before we import the text, we're going to do some lines on here, alignment lines. We'll follow the wave of the page in the book. So when we actually do the text in the end, it'll follow that curve and look real nice. So let's go to 2D. I'm just going to draw some curves and just something's going to follow kind of close to what we have here. There's one. And now for the bottom. When you're doing this, I'll show you what. It's much better to have the actual book highlighted. You can see the curves much better if it's highlighted. So you can see those parts of the shading. So click this again. I'm going all the way to the corner here just for an example, but later on we will probably move that in a little bit because notice how it starts here and goes quite a bit diagonal that way. The text might not look quite right if we have that much of a diagonal edge to it, but we can tweak that later. Okay, and let's do another one here on this side. Okay, so we got those lines there. I'm going to move those lines into the alignment tab. Let's see, so we're going to right click on that, move to layer, alignment, it's already there. I probably have things messed up where I want them to be. No, that looks good. 3D book is good. Hey, we're doing good. Oh, one more thing I forgot. We're going to do an outline around the book. We'll need that a little bit too. So let's go back to modeling. That's already highlighted, selected. And we're going to click this button right here. And that just drew a line around our object. And I'm going to click that line. It's highlighted. We're going to move that to outline. We'll use that later when we cut the item out. We'll use that for the tool path to cut it out. Okay, so we've got the alignment lines done. Let's import some text. I already wrote out the text I want. It's the lorem ipsum. And we've got 3 sections. This will be the heading. This will be a little bigger on the left-hand side. This will be the body on the left-hand side and the body on the right-hand side. It's kind of up to you when you have your text, how you want to do it. And this is getting relatively small in there. You'll want to have a decent sharp bit to do this, but I've done a little sharper than that and it's come out fine before. So I'll copy that one. We'll go to text. I like Lucida calligraphy when I do this, which is already selected there. Again, paste that, and let's click apply. A little bit big there. What do you think? Let's go down to 0.5. See what that looks like. It's pretty close. I think maybe a little smaller yet. Once we're done with the text, we're going to use the distort feature, and that will actually change the size of the text also. So even though we're going to put like 0.4 here, it could change on you. So just be conscious of that. So we'll now do the body on the left-hand side. Copy that, go back to that, paste, let's go down to 0.3, see what that looks like. That's pretty close. We might adjust it a little smaller later, but I think that's pretty close to what we want actually. So we'll call that one good. And now we'll do the same thing for the right-hand side. So we'll copy this part of the text. Copy, paste, and we'll put it here. Let's close that. And we'll move it there. Okay, now's the cool part. I'm going to hide the outline here so you can see the outline, see the text and the alignment lines. That's all I want to see. Okay, I'm going to center this a little bit. The arrow keys. Move this up just a smidge. Okay. So now this is the distort feature. We'll click that and highlight the text portion. Click on between two curves. You always click the bottom first. Whoops. Gotta hold the shift key down when we do that, don't we? Shift click. Now it says bottom edge OK. Shift here. Top edge OK. We'll hit apply. Aha, I forgot something. So let's Control Z back up here. It matters on these vectors where your start point is. See the green here is the start point on the right? It should be on the left. So I'm going to right click and make start point. Let's do the same thing up here. We'll right click, make start point. Okay, let's do this again. Let's close this and open it back up again. Okay, highlight text, distort, between the curves, the bottom one first, top one next, and hit apply. Okay, there we go. Now I already know a few issues we're going to change on this, so I'm going to go ahead and close this, save that the way it is, and let's go to the 3D part, the tool paths, and just highlight that and get rid of that line. Whoops. Guess just click once, it does the whole thing. Let's VCarve this. I am going to do this with a 60 degree. I have a 45 degree really sharp bit that I think works good for this. And okay. There will not be any flat area. And depth, I'm only going to go, let's try 0.03. That works pretty good for me. And calculate. Okay. Now you see when we look at this right here, you can already see it goes a little too far over that edge there. A few things won't fix still. Let's go ahead and preview this, see what it looks like. So, and I forgot something on here. One more time. We have to project this onto the 3D model. Okay, so let's reset and do everything again. Okay, so you can see that. Let's go ahead and come here and let's make this one toolpath black so it shows up a little better. So that's what it's going to look like. So I can tell already now, whoops, get up here. I'm going to lower that top down a little bit, raise this up a little bit, too close to the edge, and move it to the right a little bit. So to do that, we are going to go back to drawing, 2D, and back to distort. And we can edit the envelope. I'm going to move all these down about that much. We could have moved the whole line down before we started, but this is a good example on how you can tweak this after you've done this part. So original line's still there, but it followed it up there. You can see the line we created that's dotted there. Same thing down here. And now to move the stuff to the right, I'm just going to move this in a little bit, and it pulls it all in a little bit. We can tweak these so the change isn't so dramatic right there. More flowing. Okay, let's close this and look what it looks like now. Back to 3D, where we recalculate the VCarve toolpath. And reset preview. We're getting a little closer. I think this one I'm going to pull it to the left a little bit, and then later we're going to show a trick how to make that follow that line there. We're doing a good job following the bottom line and this top line, but the problem with Distort, it's only 2 sides, and you have, of course, 4 sides here. So a little later we're going to come back and try to tweak that to make it look better too. So I'm going to pull it top over left, to the left a bit. 2D. And click that and distort and edit. That's all we need to do there. I'm going to do the other side now too. Since we saw how I want to drop that down from the top edge, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down a few points there. A few more actually. I want these two to kind of line up there. And let's see if this works for us. So let's highlight that, distort between 2 lines, bottom edge, top edge, apply. I can already see this is too far to the left on the top one. So I'm going to edit this, just to zoom in a little bit, and move that over. Type of parallel to the center line. It's not bad. So let's close this, add this to our VCarve toolpath, and we'll do the whole thing now. See what it looks like. Calculate, reset, preview all toolpaths. And I think we can move this one, the whole thing to the left. We're a little of the edge there and there. We're too far from that center edge, so we'll do that. And we'll be done with this part of the project. So let's go over here, 2D, and distort. And we want to edit the envelope. So I'll move this back to where it was pretty much. And the same for the bottom, we're going to move it a little more parallel. And these edges were just a little hanging over, so I'm going to pull it in a little bit so it stays on the page. Okay, so now make sure one more time we like this. So recalculate that one more time to see how it looks on the page. Reset and preview. For this side, the right side looks pretty good because it's left-hand justified and it comes at the seam just right. We're to the edge, but not over the edge. This one we're kind of close. But like I say, through here it looks wrong. So we're going to come through here and move these over just a smidge manually. So we'll close that. Come back over here, 2D view. First we'll go back to distort, and you notice we can't pick one item on here. It's grouped together. So we'll go to distort, and we're going to bake distortion. Now I can go in here, and each little vector is its own vector. So we'll go through and manually move some of these over. I think before that, though, we're going to put a alignment line on this side just so we can see what it looks like. So to make that alignment line on that left side, we're going to go to the 3D book again. And we'll make sure alignment is highlighted on that. I'm going to hide the text for just a second too. And we're going to click for the line. Okay, so that's kind of the line we want to follow on the curve on the text. So let's bring text back in, hide the book. There we go. So all we're going to do is highlight these sections. You got to select every single vector in there. Takes a little while to select each one the right way. And I'm going to bump this, whoops, got the alignment line selected also. Let's try to take that off. Okay, I think this one will move over just a less than that first one. And this is more of an art than a science. You just do it till it looks right. Drop that down a little bit so it looks right. Might come back and tweak that again later. We're getting close. We'll do this one again. Not again, the first time, but that doesn't look quite right yet either. And these 3 rows here could move over just a little bit, I think. Let's see if we can select all of them. Ooh, good job. And maybe this row now a little bit more to make the curve look right. Okay, let's go and see what this looks like now. So back over to toolpaths. And of course, when we redid this, we converted, when we baked it, I guess the right word is, we lost that in our toolpath, so I have to reselect it. Get rid of that. Okay, let's calculate. And reset and preview. Follows the edge pretty nice. I think we got a winner. We need to add one more toolpath before we can finish this. So let's close this. It'll leave the toolpath to actually cut it out. So we'll leave that outline and nothing else. Outline, and we're going to profile 0.86 depth. That's good. It was 0.85 was the wood, so I like to go 1/100th deeper. Make sure it's a clean cut. 1/4 inch end mill, outside. Often I'll go ahead and do it now. I always do a 100th extra to get a nice clean edge with no tooling marks. I'll add the tabs later, not really needed. I always like to ramp at 45 degrees to Not sure I have any sharp edges on mine. I'll call it cutout. Calculate. Yes, we're going to cut through the wood. We know that. So let's reset. Preview all toolpaths. Get rid of that. And there we go. That's pretty good. If you're doing it yourself, you might want to move everything over just a smidge to the left, but you get the idea how this works. So good luck on this in the future.